Yes, yes, it is me, Gerald the Poupée, and you are watching Shooting Shit. Yes.
The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, look who I have with me yet again. This is episode 30 of Shooting Shit. This is our WrestleMania recap. And unlike WrestleMania 30, I swear we won't suck on this one because everyone knows WrestleMania 30 sucked. But DDJ, let the people know how.
Whoa. WrestleMania 30 sucked?
I mean the streak, man. Come on.
Yeah, but overall, man, that was I just watched it a couple weeks ago. That was a pretty damn good. And I mean, come on, you got one of the greatest moments in WrestleMania history out of that.
I don't know. I guess I'm one of the people who just felt like a crap turd out of nowhere, just having that loss.
Man, you probably will believe one of those them stands or whatever they call them that are bitching about you know who coming back to the trader to AEW. He's probably burnt. Do you go and burn all your Brock Lesnar stuff when he broke the streak?
I didn't own Brock Lesnar stuff.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about it because I got a little bit of a take on that a little bit later. So,
all right, let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Shooting Shit, episode 30, WrestleMania recap, Mania weekend recap. We're just going to talk about what's going on the last few days. Let's go.
Let's go.
I just gotta have a reason to play the beep every once in a while, so.
What is wrong with you, dude?
I start piling on the investment money.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, like you already know, we had the one, the only. What do you say, DDJ?
Hey, what's up, man? I had so much fun last week. You know what? It's just like I said. I can't stay away from this show. Just when I thought I was out, you pulled me back in.
And man, I couldn't be happier for it. I definitely miss you guys. Joey K, I know he's got a lot on his mind after what happened at Supercard of Honor. One day, hopefully, we'll hear his takes on that soon.
I want to ask him what I got to ask him if he watched it from the toilet.
That's the only way you could have watched that one, because literally, I know people were shitting bricks during that show.
Dude, I know. I dropped a few bricks myself. I was watching. I spent most of the time watching it on my phone on the way home from vacation and stuff. So, but yeah. So, but no, I can't wait to talk about that show. But yeah, let's. What are we doing tonight, man?
We're doing a little bit of everything, man. Mania weekend, since we threw in ROH just there, a little nod to that. Both nights of Mania. Maybe if you want to mention anything on the indie scene that happened over the weekend, maybe one match or something really stood out to you, we could throw that out there. We're just shooting from the hip like we always do.
Yeah, man. I'll admit I really didn't watch too much outside of WrestleMania and Supercard of Honor. I know there's some friends of mine and stuff that watched a lot. Some friends of mine that got to go to a lot of shows. Some friends of ours that got to see and hobnob with a lot of people. Ty.
He's got some of the best luck of anybody I've ever known, because he literally met the entire roster that WWE still has.
Yeah, and the sad thing is probably total money he spent to get all those pictures is probably less than $100. Most of them were at the hotel or whatever and stuff, man.
Yeah, I think he said he only really paid for the Bella Twins. Everything else was just off the cuff.
Yeah, but good for him, man, and stuff. We love Ty. Ty's a good dude and stuff, and glad he had fun. And at Mania, in Dallas all weekend, and he got home safely. So
Hell yeah, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Well, let me throw this out there just because I watched everything Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My ass and my sofa became one. They almost fused together. I
like
didn't.
Homer, like Homer Simpson when he got cable.
Yes, exactly. The only difference is I had here about 3 boxes of Little Caesars pizza and a couple of bottles of soda, man. I came in and I was ready. I had my, we're only moving to go to the facilities. Everything else, I'm sitting here watching all this greatness. And I think if I want to highlight something in the indie scene that was outside of what maybe everybody watched, because I know everybody was on the ROH. The buzz
Yeah,
around.
I just you mentioned ROH real quick, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but it was just I think revealed today that they were Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor did something like 20,000 buys or something like that, which is like just compared to I think one of the last shows only did something like I don't know about what Final Battle did, but they were talking about how a recent show only did like something like 800 buys or something, and I know a lot of it had to probably be out of morbid curiosity, but I
Right.
mean still shout out to Tony Khan, like I said. I told you this. Like I said, we'll get into this here a little bit later, but the Tony Khan era of Ring of Honor could not have gotten off to a better start Friday night.
Hell yeah, man. And for $30, you really couldn't have spent a better $30 to watch a damn good show.
I didn't spend 30. I spent $9.99 when I re-signed up for my Honor Club account, man.
There you go. See, people in the know right there, saving some money.
Got to, man. All right, carry on with what you were talking about, man. My apologies.
You got it, brother. I mean, hell, that's what we do. We just shoot the shit. But GCW
Yeah,
with
screw
the
decorum.
collective. Screw the decorum. That's all we do. But GCW, the collective, there was a couple of big matches, man, throughout all the shows they had that really struck me. Whether it was the first all African American death match during For the Culture, but I think the one that was real big that stuck out, man, was the intergender death match at Gringo Loco presents Lucha. What was it, Lucha versus the World or whatever?
Something like that, yeah.
The World on Lucha. There you go. But it had Pagano going against Sarika in an intergender death match, and jeez Louise, man, these two. And apparently Sarika is a big time like deathmatch wrestler in Mexico. She holds her own, and I didn't know that. Like, I don't really follow a lot of the AAA products, but to see them two go at it, oh my god, it was greatness.
Wow.
Definitely worth the shout out and worth the watch if you're able to go back and pick out that show from the collective. That match right there was greatness. But you know what, DDJ? The granddaddy of them all, the showcase of the immortals, the whole reason that everybody was in Dallas to put on their grandest shows, WrestleMania. Let's start with night one.
Before we do that, you gave a shout out to your lady there and Pagano for that match, man. Dude, how about I'm gonna give a shout out to Murder Grandpa Minoru Suzuki, the new Ring of Honor television champion, for not only winning his first major title in the United States, but he was sandwiched in between shows. Like that Ring of Honor show was the second of 3 shows. He had a show earlier in the day, and then he went to I think it was the GCW show because I think he wrestled Effie or something.
Yep.
And like a couple hours later and stuff. So man, shout out to Minoru Suzuki for doing the work.
I think he had like 4 shows that weekend, man. He was a workhorse.
He was and stuff and that. So, but yeah, let's get into Mania, man.
Night one, brother. What was your match of the night? Who took it?
Don't even have to think twice about it. It was easily Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. I mean that match there. It was really, I think, like easily Becky's like best match since she adopted this heel persona since she came back at SummerSlam last year. But man, they went back and forth and just the story that was told was just Bianca was throwing everything she could at Becky because, she needed this. She wanted to avenge her loss at SummerSlam. And the funny thing was that match got off to almost the exact same start as the one at SummerSlam did, which was a kind of a nice little telling and stuff and that, but just back and forth, and it's just like you could see hitting the KOD and Becky kicking out and Becky, doing the disarmer and Bianca getting to the ropes, and it just told such a great story, and that was honestly probably one of the best women's matches I've seen in the last couple of years.
Hell yeah, man. And it had everything. Like you said, the story that was told in the ring, the emotions, the entrances, man. Like, when is the last time you've seen the champion come out first off, and then the challenger have an equally grand entrance as well?
I think she had an even bigger entrance than Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Because, she had the marching band. They played her music to the ring, and there were a lot of people that got like really good, and we'll talk about a little bit later. But a lot of really good WrestleMania style entrances and stuff. But yeah, man, that match, I knew it was going to be good, but it just blew away my expectations for that, man. And like I said, there was and night one overall was really damn good. I don't really have the only bad thing about night one was the fact that the New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland match, for some reason got cut or pushed back to night two and stuff. But it just overall, it just didn't take away. And obviously there was so much other good that came of that, which we'll talk about. But what about you? What was your match of the night for night one?
Man, I'd be hard pressed not to take the Bianca Belair match with Big Time Bex. It was the epitome of great storytelling and a culmination of, months worth of storytelling. Bianca losing the fashion that she did at SummerSlam, then having to work her way back up, getting that shot at Mania, and basically going to war. That in all actuality, I would have loved if that match would have been placed later in the card where Charlotte and Rousey was.
Yeah, because I think Charlotte and Ronda Rousey was left something to be desired, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that match suffered from Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch killing it.
Yeah, because I think they had to know going into this match, like, how are we going to top this? And I just think that the bar was set so high, it would have taken a miracle for Charlotte and Ronda to top it. Yeah.
Yes, the bar.
But okay, but is that your match of the night too, or do you have something else?
Oh yeah, I'm doubling down with you.
Yeah, and that's not to take away from what else we saw. We obviously we had the return of Cody Rhodes, and it just I think that's a topic right now that's really divided the IWC, because you've got your AEW diehards who are burning Cody shirts now, and I'm gonna just go right into my little take here.
Hit it.
This goes back to the day when LeBron James announced he was taking his services or his talents to Miami, and for some reason people got it in their minds that I'm gonna be an idiot. I'm gonna burn my LeBron James jersey because I'm mad because he left me. He left my team. I'm going to take this $50, $60 jersey that I spent my hard-earned money on, and I'm going to burn it because that's going to make me feel so much better. I've never understood why people feel the need to do that kind of to basically steal a line from Seth Rollins' song, "Burn It Down." I saw videos of people burning Cody Rhodes shirts. I've seen people on Twitter, and these are probably the same people that were booing Cody in AEW. Calling him a traitor and that he sold out and everything. And then I saw people boxing up their figures saying, I'm done with, and seriously, come on. I get it. Like, you're an AEW fan, you're a WWE fan, you're a Cody, whatever, but take it. That's just taking it to the extreme. And it's just, again, this is one of our favorite messages. The IWC needs to do better, and I think in this case they really need to do better. There are more important things in this world to worry about or freak out about than Cody Rhodes going back to the WWE. Where, and I'll admit, I was hoping it wasn't going to be Cody. We both on our last show thought it was going to be The Undertaker, especially based on the way his Hall of Fame speech ended. Obviously, that proved out to be a red herring. And when Cody Rhodes' music hit, I'm sitting there in the living room watching it, and I'm like, oh my God, he's actually back. And into my back of my mind, I was a little disappointed because, I said from the beginning of this whole thing that the whole thing was a work. Somehow Cody's going to come back to AEW. You know what? I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong, and in this case, yes, I was wrong and stuff. And I was kind of disappointed on it, but I thought about it. It's come out and said Cody doesn't want to be, like an office person anymore. It just sounds like I think he bit off a little bit more than he can chew. He seems to have want to go back for the right reasons. He wants to go back and do something his dad doesn't done, and that's when the WWE, well, whatever the title is now, that we have an undisputed Universal Champion and stuff. But I don't hate it as much, and we'll talk about this on next week's show and stuff. But the promo he cut on Raw was just so good, and just really, I was like, it kind of put me like, you know what? I'm really okay with him being back because I like the fact that they're presenting him in the same way AEW did. And I think this is kind of, and I think they're doing this to show that, maybe it's not it's not career suicide if you decide, you know what, I don't want to be in AEW anymore. My contract's up. I want to go up north. Maybe that's what it is. And like you said, the match was great. Like I have nothing bad to say about it. I thought it provided a great moment, and stuff, and that. So, but yeah, that was just amazing. There's so much good stuff on. I mean, Speedy, well wishes and good vibes and prayers go out to my man Rick Boogs because he suffered that was really sad to see him suffer that pretty serious injury. I believe he tore his quad. Basically, almost sounds like he got the Triple H injury, and he's going to be out for a while and stuff. But best wishes to a speedy recovery and stuff, man. But overall, though, like I said, night one was probably about as good of a show that WWE has put on in years.
Yeah, man, you hit a lot of good stuff there. A lot to unpack. I think, at the bulk of it all, though, with Cody Rhodes, and I'm a known Cody Rhodes fan. I am part of the group who thought Cody was just going to retire. Because honestly, the way the fans had turned on him and started treating him, I wouldn't have wanted to go to WWE because who knows what that fan base would have done. And to see the WWE fan base cheer Cody, I didn't hear many boos. I didn't hear much boos, but I heard a lot of great reaction on WrestleMania on Monday night. Kind of makes me feel like maybe he made the right choice because I feel like Cody never got the proper shake his first run. That's what led to him, doing what he did through the indies, going through with AEW, but the grand disillusion that all these AEW marks have, and guys understand that I'm an AEW mark myself. I've spent way more money in AEW than I have for WWE. But what you guys don't understand is the core of AEW was never Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was the face of AEW because he was the biggest name at the time that the American audience would know. The core of AEW has always been the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, and Tony Khan. And it stems down to, if you really dig down into it, Tony Khan got in contact with the Bucks first, who brought in Omega, who brought in Hangman Adam Page, who then, after all of them have started talking and figured out that this was serious, went to the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And Cody Rhodes, being the biggest name that they could probably put onto at the time, of course took the opportunity to become an EVP, help this thing grow, get out in front of it, do all the media, because the guy is not bad looking. He is very illiterate. He's a very smart businessman. But at the end of the day, he wasn't part of that core. And when power struggles happen in a company, or when you're no longer feeling like, you're fully welcomed where you're at, maybe it's no longer fun, you start having things get taken away from you, and it just starts becoming more of a chore. Well, I'd rather get paid more to go through those chores if I'm trying to wrap up the end of my career than sit here and really suffer and, have to deal with all the backstage stuff. So, to all the Cody fans, guys, or to all the haters, you don't really know what's going on. You don't know the full story. To quote my grandfather, there's always the three versions of the truth: my side, your
Yep.
side, and the actual truth.
Yep.
So, watch wrestling, do better, and for the love of God, stop burning merchandise. You guys are so freaking dumb with that. I'm gonna waste my money and burn it. I don't know where that makes sense, but I don't get it.
Well, listen, and this is going to be a public service announcement that I'm going to put out. If there's anybody out there that's got any Cody Rhodes merchandise that they want to burn, I will save them the trouble of buying the lighter fluid and finding the matches and everything. Reach out to me. I will give you my mailing information, and you can just send the Cody merchandise my way, and I will make sure it stays in a good home.
Me too. If you have a Cody Chase figure, a Cody LJN that you just really want to get rid of because you can't stand looking at it, I'll give you my address. Go ahead and mail them over. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So one thing I want to talk about here, and this is probably going to be the thing that surprised me most about both nights of WrestleMania. How good did Logan Paul look in the ring?
You're going to make me say it?
I'm going to make you say it because I'm saying it.
He obviously looks like he did put in some time and he didn't just take this as a joke.
No, he honestly, and this pains me to say because I was really high on Dominic Mysterio when he debuted because he had a really good match against Seth Rollins. But to me, he looked like he's been in the ring more. He's been a wrestler longer than Dominic Mysterio has.
I think that's an issue with Dominic, though, because I've actually noticed that a lot recently, too. He's looking greener than normal. I don't know what's happened.
It seems like he's regressing.
Yeah.
And stuff. So, but no, I mean, I was very pleasantly surprised. I still don't like the guy. I still don't understand why he's famous and stuff. And I mean, obviously, he's got some, he's got some giant sized grapefruits to wear a Pokemon card as part of his ring attire. But man, I'm gonna admit, he looked really damn good. And I mean, he knew what he was doing. He knew how to draw the heat. He did, mocked Eddie Guerrero and all that. And even I said, wow, that's pretty ballsy.
I'll put it this way, man. I think they're saying reports are that Adam Pearce was the one who helped train Logan Paul. He's the one who helped train Bad Bunny. And if that's true, Pearce is a freaking genius because these guys looked amazing in the WrestleMania matches.
Yeah, I mean, that was the one thing that really that surprised me the most out of both nights and stuff and that. But also too, man, rest in peace to the notion that the end of days is the most protected finisher in the WWE because Drew McIntyre finally kicked out of end of days.
That's such a weird one for me because when I think of Corbin, and I'm not going to call him Happy Corbin. When I think of Corbin, I don't necessarily think of him as winning a lot, but then they do this whole thing that he's never lost as Happy Corbin. He's got the end of days that's never been kicked out of. And I start to realize, like, has Corbin really flown that low beneath the radar that no one's kicked out of the freaking end of days?
Yeah, because I had heard stuff about that recently. But they really hammered it. They hammered down on it during the broadcast.
Yeah.
And stuff. But then also too, man, we can't talk about night one and not talk about what happened at the end of the show, man, with Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
What?
Yeah, I had no idea what we were gonna get. I know we talked about it, and I said we were gonna get some kind of match or something up there, but I didn't think we were going to get what we got.
Oh, yeah. It was an amazing just way to end out night one. and 100% deserving of being the actual main for the night.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and shout out to Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, almost 19 years to the day that he wrestled his last match, he went out and put on a match like that with Kevin Owens, and I mean, took some really good bumps and bumps that I was shocked that he took and stuff. But I mean, I mean, I if now that's the way. The way he ended that night, that's the way for him to go out.
Yep. I think the only thing that I really would have wanted is I really would have seen the Luthez press, man. That's the only move out of Austin's arsenal that I was missing. And I'm thinking maybe he can't do that with the neck in the back, but everything else was great.
Yeah, I mean, the setup for the match is Owens is like, I just brought you out here because I lured you in a trap. I want, he asked for the match. He knew he was going to get it because Austin being the type of person that he is and stuff. But I couldn't believe what I saw. I thought we were just going to get a fight. They'd fight around the ring, throw a few punches, winds up Austin getting a stunner, drink some beer and leaves him. But I mean, literally, they went all over the arena and up to the stage and, used the ATV. And it was just, Austin took a stunner from Kevin Owens and I mean, this is one of those cases where Austin won the match and went over, but man, there ain't nobody out there that can't say that Kevin Owens didn't get over in that match.
Hell yeah. And I think, and honestly, if we're going to peek behind the curtain, man, I think this is the reason Kevin Owens stayed with the WWE because, his contract was coming up and you get them to say, hey, we'll let you wrestle your freaking childhood hero. Sign me up. I'm in.
Yeah. And I mean, and it just, I know he had to have been extremely excited about that and stuff. I mean, how many people can say they main evented WrestleMania against Stone Cold Steve Austin? The only one that I could really think of that could say that is The Rock.
The Rock, yeah,
and stuff. So, and I mean, but I just like you said, night one was so good. Like I said, it just goes to show you as much as we as a fan base sometimes get on WWE and rightfully so about the lackluster product that they put out most of the time and stuff. They can get a good one. They can squeeze out a good one every once in a while. And night one was a prime example.
Exactly. They were able to give us a good night full of wrestling. And I don't know if it was great because we went in with such low expectations that a decent to good show was phenomenal. But I thoroughly enjoyed night one, man. Let's get to night two.
Yeah. So I'm going to come out and say night two, while it was good, I enjoyed, but yeah, night one was far and away the much better of the two nights and stuff. And I mean, he had a killer opener with that 3-way tag match for the Raw tag team titles. Just, I mean, that was a perfect match to start out that night. Yeah, and I mean, what else can be said? Chad Gable is becoming gold on is becoming gold on the microphone. The Street Profits are the Street Profits. Like I said, Montez Ford is going to be a star. But damn, RK Bro, you can't touch them right now.
No. They're too good, man. And I got a kick out of the Randy Orton Viper and then the Matt Riddle Viper during the entrances. I laughed my ass off at that.
Yep. And then you had the RKOs out of nowhere. Like you had Riddle RKOing, I think it was one of the Street Profits or something off from the top rope, and then you got the quintessential RKO out of nowhere with Chad Gable diving off the top rope, only to basically run right into the RKO and stuff. But man, that was excuse me. Yeah. Dinner's kind of starting to fight. Dinner's starting to put up a fight in my stomach, so I'll just leave it at that.
Talking about putting up a fight in Chad Gable, man. Gable Stevenson, are we doing a little too much with the latest recruits?
No, because I don't think we are, because I mean, they introduced him night one. He sat ringside for night two, and then gotten involved with Chad Gable, which it makes sense. Gable Stevenson winning the gold medal, Chad Gable, being a gold medalist or being in the Olympics and their colleague. Like you kind of knew something like that was going to happen and stuff. I think it's just kind of like just getting the fans excited for Gable Stevenson's impending debut. Now that he's done with his NCAA commitments and stuff, he can focus on training and hopefully we'll see him here sooner rather than later because I want to see what he's got. I want to see if he's going to be for all we know, we could be watching the next Kurt Angle.
That's true. It's very true. All right, DDJ. What do you say on match of the night 2?
I get a little bit of a. I'm going to give you a 1A or my match of the night, and then an honorable mention because my favorite match of the night or the match I thought was the best of the night is not the match that I enjoyed the most.
Oh no!
So this is going to be a little bit interesting. So for my match of the night, it's going to be Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. I first off the entrance that they gave Pat McAfee was fucking awesome.
Yes.
I mean, he had Seven Nation Army from the White Stripes. He had the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I mean, it just is one of those songs that's like gets you pumped up, like you're ready to go and stuff. And I mean, it just there was so much to that. I mean, they had again, Austin Theory is going to be a star. Like he's going to be champion someday. But Pat McAfee, if he ever decides to become a full-time wrestler, he's going to do quite well because in the few matches he's had, he has never disappointed. He has never looked bad. He's trained and it shows and stuff. Now the stuff with McMahon and stuff, that is what it is. I count it as a separate match, but we got another appearance with Austin, if it's one thing I also learned about Pat McAfee, dude knows how to sell a stunner a lot better than Vince McMahon does.
Oh, Jesus. Vince's sell was terrible horseshit.
Yeah, and you know what? Austin Theory, he probably, I think he just eclipsed Scott Hall as the guy that got the most height off taking a stunner.
Yeah, because, previously it was Hall almost bouncing out of the ring, but Theory, man, just ta-dunk.
But just the way that McAfee took it, where basically he took it and then he just almost like he just gradually fell back. And then when they cut to when they cut to him outside the ring and he's out, but he's drinking a beer. I mean, that was just, I laughed my ass off. I thought that was great. But now for my honorable mention, and this was the match that I enjoyed the most. And I might, if I get some heat about this, I don't fucking care. It's my show. It's our show. I can say what I want and stuff, and I don't have to answer to anyone. But, man, I enjoyed the fuck out of Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville.
I felt that was coming.
Yep. But, it's just that I knew I wasn't going to get Flair versus Steen, but I knew I wasn't going to get, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho or Kenny Omega and Okada. Like, I knew I wasn't going to do that. That right there just went to show just that comedy wrestling does have a place in the WWE. They couldn't have pulled off a better match with that style than anything. I mean, you had a table with mouse traps. You had the WrestleMania debut of Mae Young and Mark Henry's son, the Giant Hand. Which, by the way, shout out to Mark Henry for that tweet he put out about putting out a generational talent. That was brilliant and stuff. But then you had the involvement of the Jackass people. And I like the fact that the announcers knew who they were. Hey, that's Party Boy.
Yeah.
And then the highlight of the night for me for night 2 was seeing Wee Man body slam Sami Zayn.
Dude, it was so good.
And it's just that was a fun match. You had, like I said, the table with the mouse traps. You had the giant hand. You had the a fire extinguisher. You had the giant mouse trap. You had the bowling ball. it was fun, and it's just I enjoyed that match probably more so than any other match on that card and stuff. And it's just that's why I kind of had to give that my honorable mention.
Hell yeah, man. It was a hell of a match. I'm not gonna lie. The Sami Zayn match with Johnny Knoxville had a lot more bumps than I expected. Pontius was crazy with the party boy gimmick. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching Jackass Forever after Mania, and I saw Johnny Knoxville get hit by a bull, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, he's taking WWE bumps because this man's been hit by a damn bull. He's fine.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny that you mentioned that. So I had to get that in.
Yeah, man. It's and then the commentary for the match was great. Like you stated, they called out all the guys from the show that were there. And then Corey Graves, or I think it was Graves, somebody kept on mentioning how they've seen Pontius's man parts and wouldn't go into it. But if you've
Mm-hmm.
seen Jackass Forever, you have seen a lot of Pontius's man parts because it's all over the damn movie. Warning, don't watch that with children.
Yeah, don't watch any of the Jackass stuff with children. And Pontius is very much is known pretty much out there to the people that follow Jackass as someone who likes to get his well, I'll just go out and say because we don't filter anything anymore. His penis like involved. I mean, I think it was Jackass 3 when they basically had his penis tied up looking like a cat toy or something, trying to get a cat to play with it and stuff.
The cat, they had it looking like a mouse with a snake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just and such stuff. But yeah, like I said, that was fun. I also like the AJ versus Edge match. I felt like it was missing something. Like I felt like it didn't live up to the hype that I had for it and stuff. I mean, it was still a really good match and stuff, and I really like the involvement of Damian Priest. I like where they're going with this faction that they have now, or that seems to be building and stuff. But yeah, what about you? What were your thoughts on night 2?
We've already hit some of the real good spots on night 2, and I'm gonna go for what for me was the worst match of night 2. Don't cancel me. Don't hate me. It is what it is. It's like DDJ said. It's our show. We do what we want. Damn it. But the worst match of night 2, AJ Styles versus Edge. Sorry. Boo. Hiss all you want. That match, for what it should have been, was terrible.
You're saying, well, I'm again. This is your opinion. I respect you and stuff, but you're telling me that match was worse than Brock versus Roman.
Yes, 110%. 110%.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following statement is that of Giovanni Tuhati and not reflective of the entire shooting shit panel here. Carry on.
Let me break it down for you. You have Edge, someone who as of late has looked like a world beater, possible future champion. His work rate has been great. He's put on fantastic matches with Randy Orton. He's put on phenomenal matches. And then we get him paired with the phenomenal AJ Styles, a man who had taken The Undertaker to his best match right at the time of retirement. So if anybody can work with somebody that needs them to carry them, AJ Styles is the perfect guy. But Edge doesn't need to be carried. So this match should have been great. Instead, what we got was a slow-paced, working match. Yes, there was a lot of ring psychology in there, a lot of working holds, and a lot of deliberate moves, but they were done at such a pace that the crowd fell out of it. I fell out of it. And by the time Damian Priest was there at the end to pull off a just, hey, let me look at you. Oh, yeah, I'm here. And then spear, I didn't care anymore. I had stopped caring about the match 10 minutes in because of the pacing. Pacing completely killed that match. Now, flip it. Braun versus Roman. This had big fight energy, and not just because of them hyping it up as the most stupendous, greatest thing we've ever seen. It's because you have both champions in there, and they're about to go to war. You got Strowman coming out. You have Strowman. You have Roman coming out strong. You have Brock coming out strong. And it was like a fight between two bulls to see who was going to get the last stance. Honestly, I thought Brock was going to take the match with the Kimura, but then, we get the rush finish because of the legitimate injury. I'm not going to hold that against the match. Prior to that, I felt like the pacing was going real well. But with Edge and AJ Styles, it feels unredeemable to me that match was as long as it was and as slow as it was.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why, like I said, I didn't dislike it as much as you did and stuff, but yeah, just like I said, I was disappointed because I had said, one last week that was the match that I was most excited for.
Omos and Lashley was better than AJ and Edge.
Ooh, I don't.
And it's because of the story they told. Omos is not great in the ring, but Lashley pulled a match out of that man, and it was good.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about, on probably on next week's show, how that feud is clearly not over and the new wrinkle that was thrown into that. So, guys, tune in next week.
That's what you call the cliffhanger in the business. Yes.
Same podcast time, same podcast. Well, maybe same podcast time, but definitely on the same podcast channel. Our YouTube page. Eventually, we'll have this along with our predictions show up on wherever you can get your podcast from. But definitely, we'll be putting out trying to put out new shows every week on YouTube, and eventually get caught up wherever you get your audio podcast from.
All right. So, any final thoughts for night 2?
Overall, this was probably this is the third WrestleMania that they've done, the 2 nights, and it was actually announced that next year's WrestleMania is going to be 2 nights as well. And it sounds like the 2-night format is here to stay for the foreseeable future, and I'm fine with that. I would rather watch 2, 4-hour shows rather than one 7-hour show or whatever and stuff. But night 2, like I said, while it had some some hits, the opening 3-way tag match for the Raw tag team titles, Knoxville versus Zayn, Pat McAfee and Austin Theory and stuff, and everything. It's just, I think the bar was set so high with night 1. It's just, it was going to take a lot for night 2 to either meet or exceed that. And it's just, unfortunately, just, it didn't happen.
Yeah, that's crazy because night 2 had what you would consider the main title being defended, and it still kind of just fell flat versus night 1.
Yeah, and that so, but I mean, it was just I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just think again, I was as good as night 1 was. I didn't think night 2 was going to live up to the hype, but it didn't and stuff, but. I mean, again, just overall, easily the best. Since they've done the 2, this was the best of the 2-night WrestleMania events that they've put on since this has gone on. So,
right. So next year, we already know LA. What are we seeing the next year, 2024? Where are we going to be at?
You mean 2023?
No, 23 is LA. What's the one after?
Oh, well, let me see. Chicago's new stadium in Arlington Heights probably won't be built, so we ain't getting WrestleMania until at least the new Bear Stadium's built. I'm gonna say I would like for it to be somewhere in the Midwest, either up in Detroit or Minnesota, where maybe where the Vikings play, or maybe Lucas Oil Field where the Colts play or something. I'm thinking maybe somewhere in the Midwest.
I'm going to say 2024 WrestleMania goes to the hockey puck itself in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Ooh, that's a good one. I wouldn't mind that. I could see that.
Yeah, I would like that, man. I would actually make an attempt to go to Vegas for that week.
That would be a fun week, man.
Hell yeah, it's always fun in Vegas.
So I'm going to ask you this. So we talked about night 1. We talked about night 2. Overall, all the wrestling that you saw, you got one match that you would say if you're going to watch any match from this past few days of wrestling, going back to when the show started, I think Thursday or whatever. What are you picking?
The match that we have been waiting for 6 months. Give me FTR versus the Briscoe brothers. That match had it all in ROH. It was amazing.
I'm going to double down on you with that because, like you said, we got the match that we wanted to see. We had that nice little surprise after the match with the
Yep.
Young Bucks, And how about that promo they cut? How they talked about how we quit this company a couple years ago and we went and started a company that bought this company and stuff. I mean, man, the Young Bucks are so good at being heels.
Oh yeah, dude. They take heel work to a whole nother level. I 100% appreciate what they're doing.
Yeah, and like we said, well, we got some time, we both agreed on it. Let's get some Ring of Honor some love because, like I said, that show was great. I mean, Tully Blanchard's, back in a big way with having the Khan from who was used to be part of the Shane Taylor Promotions, and I can't think of the other guy what his name was, but he's Samoan or whatever.
It's like Toa something.
Yeah, I mean that's a good. But man, though, I don't think anybody would have called her Brian Cage being his mystery guy.
Let me tell you why this pissed me off so bad.
Why did it piss you off so bad?
Ninja Mac had such a great fucking weekend. If you had watched anything that he did that whole weekend prior to this match with Cage, you would feel as raw about it as I did because he went into Bloodsport, killed it. He had a match with one of the other GCW shows, killed it. Like the man is a legitimate up and coming star to get squished by Brian Cage.
Well, he wasn't the only one that got squashed that night. I mean, poor Rhett Titus.
That's murder grandpa, man. I mean, if I'm going to get squashed by anybody, I want his name to be Minoru Suzuki.
Oh, I don't want to be standing across the ring looking at Minoru Suzuki. I want him on my side, not against. I want him with me, not against me.
Can be part of Suzuki Goon.
Sign me up. But no, I just thought the whole show overall, and then I'm really intrigued now with where they're going with Jay Lethal. I really like the heel turn. I really like the inclusion of Sanjay Dutt, who obviously looks like he might be resuming his in-ring career. But I mean, what about that? And I know you saw this, but Tony Khan went on Twitter and said, I know there's a lot of shows out there this weekend and stuff, but do not leave this show early because you will regret missing out. And boy, oh boy, did he deliver once again with another big surprise.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That for me put ROH on a whole nother pedestal for where it would stand on the weekend. Because the surprise there, and then the match between Bandito and Gresham. Such a great match, and Bandito holding firm to his, straight by the book, no cheating, got his own manager tossed out.
Yeah,
it was great storytelling, and then the finish after Lethal came out there and turned on Gresham, that was amazing, man.
Yeah, it was such a great and again, I'll go back and say it again. To the Tony Khan era of Ring of Honor could not have gotten off to a better start. I mean, obviously it's announced, Samoa Joe is all elite. Shout out to Wheeler Yuta for winning the Pure title, which was honestly, I was shocked by that because, I mean, I figured that a lot of the AEW guys were going to go over, but I thought because Josh Woods had been featured on, Dark a few times and stuff. And I mean, he still may stick around and stuff, but I honestly thought he was going to retain. But, Wheeler, I like what they're doing with this Wheeler Yuta because I think it's going to feed into him joining the Blackpool Combat Club.
Wheeler Yuta, if you ask anybody in all of our prediction leagues, was my lock for the weekend. I said, I don't care who else you pick. Wheeler Yuta is a certified lock. He is going to win no matter what. And I felt like that because of his current storyline in AEW. You can't have him go out there against the pure wrestler, which embodies the best of pure wrestling, and lose if he's trying to get into Blackpool or whatever they're called. If he's trying to be this big pure wrestler, he had to get that marquee win, and I'm happy for him, man. It was a hell of a match against Josh the Goods Woods.
Yeah, and I mean, congratulations on him for officially being announced as being, all elite as well too. After that match, and like I said, obviously it was announced that coming up on this week's episode of Dynamite, Samoa Joe is going to be making his official in-ring debut for AEW as he attempts to qualify for the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. And poor Max Caster, I don't know who he pissed off to have to be the unlucky man that stands across the ring, but it's like you said, the future is bright for Ring of Honor, Tony Khan, because he's gonna do it. He's gonna put his own little spin on it and stuff. But I mean, he's gonna do. I think he's gonna do right by Ring of Honor.
Oh yeah, man. There's not a way that he's not. He's too much of a fan to have Ring of Honor flounder. I think right now we're going into a real crazy point in time, man, where wrestling is starting to kick back up in popularity. AEW is making this great fan base that is, pretty diehard. Some of you guys out there are crazy. I'm not going to lie about it. But then now, Jesus, you combine that fan base with the rabid fan base of Ring of Honor. That's going to be nuts.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I can't wait for the three of us to be back, to get back together here, because I'm really anxious to hear. We talked with a little bit on our little group chat that we have with Joey K and stuff, but I'm really anxious to get him on have him back on the show and talk about what he thought, because those of you that listen to the show, he's our resident diehard Ring of Honor guy. Like he goes to all the shows in the area. It's just he lives and dies by Ring of Honor and stuff. So definitely want to get his take and stuff. I mean, from our chats with him, he seemed like he really enjoyed it, but just to kind of let him just talk about it and stuff. But I mean, again, this is WrestleMania weekend. It's become one of my favorite weekends of the year, because it's not just about WrestleMania. It's just it's become a celebration of all things pro wrestling. It's like our, that's like, everybody gets together to go to the shows and, or watch from, on Peacock or Fight TV or just, illegal stream, just wherever you can get your hands, because there's so much out there and stuff.
Illegal streams.
Oh yeah. Those are out there.
Yeah, there are.
We at Shoot and Shit do not advocate the use of said illegal streams to watch the shows.
If I had to pay $275 to watch everything I did last weekend, you should too.
Well, then also too, you're not one of those people that thinks just because if you jump off a bridge, everybody else that has to, right?
That's very true. I wouldn't burn Cody merchandise because everyone else is doing it as well.
Screw that.
That's called bringing it full circle. So, DDJ, give me final thoughts. The whole weekend as a whole, our Super Bowl weekend, if you would, of wrestling. What do you got, man?
Again, it's just I was hyped for WrestleMania weekend. I enjoyed WrestleMania weekend. This is one of the many reasons I love professional wrestling, is because we get to experience weekends like this and stuff, and it's just I'm just overall I went to sleep Sunday night very happy, because I enjoyed what I saw all weekend.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to recap it.
Real quick before we go too, man. How about the Undertaker's Hall of Fame speech though?
So I didn't catch it live. I had to watch it on Peacock.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that he had damn near an hour, I was like, shit, is he really going to talk for a fucking hour? But it was a hell of a speech.
Yeah, he really, and I don't know if I'm ready. I have to maybe go back and watch and stuff. But there are a lot of people out there said that he gave the greatest Hall of Fame speech ever. I know I've seen some really good ones, like with Jake the Snake Roberts. I thought the Ultimate Warrior speech was really good and stuff. But I mean, Taker's speech is up there, and I mean, I didn't think he really had it in him, because he's never presented himself as being that kind of guy.
Yeah. He's kept kayfabe so much that we have no idea who the hell Mark Calloway is. And when he let him out, it was astonishing.
Yeah. And stuff. So, but I just, again, I'll get a great weekend, all my friends that got to go to the shows, from everything I heard, something, everybody had fun, and I enjoyed watching it from the comfort of my living room couch and stuff and that. So, but it is what it is. It was so much fun. What about you?
Man, look, You've got me thinking over here, and it's a crazy thought I'm having. We're gonna have to do Shooting Shit presents what is the best Hall of Fame speech. Now, I think we need to go in there, watch some of the top ones, get some snippets of what we think are that stick out, and see who ranks where. But we may have to do a ranking show on that pretty soon.
Okay.
Let's see, man. For the weekend overall, fuck, I love wrestling, man. I love pro wrestling.
Yep, me too.
There's no other feeling than watching something that you haven't seen before, and you're like, holy shit, this is exactly what we've been wanting to see between these teams with FTR and the Briscoes, or holy shit, this is something that I'd never seen before, and how have I gone without seeing this? If you've never seen a death match, there was a lot of great ones out there. So even the clusterfuck that was Joey Janela's clusterfuck battle royal, which I got a big time pop out of. I feel like if we were in the crowd, they would have just been like the guy in row 2, seat 6 is now in the fucking clusterfuck. It was greatness. I had a lot of fun laughing at it. Sean Ross Sapp getting tossed out by Salcedo was amazingly great. But dude, this is why we watch, for those moments that make you say, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it was awesome.
Hell yes. So we will wrap it up in a nice little bow. Ladies and gentlemen, you know this is the Shooting Shit podcast, part of that Genres Podcasting Network. Everything will be in the show notes so you can see what it was, where you can find us, where the next shows are going to be on the YouTube, on the audio podcasts coming soon when we can get them all uploaded at the same time. But, buddy, I'm tired and ready to go. What about you?
Man, the wife's home now and stuff, so time to get off and kind of unwind and get ready to get up and start another day.
I wouldn't tell anybody that you're getting off, but go ahead and tell everybody good night, Irene.
Good night, Irene.
Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow the show on Twitter at SHOOTINSHT, and thanks for listening.